Hey, what's up, first period? It's Miss Mac. I wanted to go over your classwork for the week. Your assignment for Thursday and Friday is now up on Google Classroom. I know I'm posting it a little late on Wednesday, but feel free to just start tomorrow, no worries. And then next week, we're going to start reading of Mice and Men. I thought about it for a while, what I was going to have us do during distance learning. And I think I always read this book with my eighth graders, so I want to read it with you all. So next week, get ready. I'll post the audiobook, I'll post the text online, or if you happen to have it at home randomly, then you can follow along. But for today, let's go over your assignments for Thursday and Friday. Okay, so on Google Classroom, I've posted the slides. All right, and I've also posted a link to the survey that I want you to do. I'm going to share my screen with you. Just bear with me for a second. Sometimes my Chromebook's a little slow. Okay, so we see the Of Mice and Men Big Idea survey. This is really quick. There's just 7 questions that you can look at and rank your answer. Don't forget your name. And these are just big themes that we're going to think about as we read the novel. So things like having friends is a basic human need. If you really agree and think this is super true for us to have friends, you would put a 5. If you really disagree, you're like, absolutely not, I'm a lone wolf, you put a 1, or if you're somewhere in between, you put a 3. So you're going to do that for all 7 questions. And then you're going to choose at least one of these statements, 1 through 7, and you're going to explain your reasoning. So you're going to explain why you thought what you thought. And please make sure you put the number on there. All right. And then you're also going to go over the actual Of Mice and Men slides that I've attached here, but I'll go through them with you as well if you have any questions. Takes a second. Sorry, team. Here we go. All right. So Of Mice and Men is by John Steinbeck, who is a very well-known author. He's from California. We'll get to him in a second. All right, so happy Wednesday. So these slides are your classwork for the week. Again, it's due on Friday on Google Classroom. However, I'm being very nice with late work. So if you are very busy this week or you don't get to it, try to get it to me by Monday, but no big deal. And if you have any questions, I have office hours tomorrow, Thursday, from 2 to 3 p.m. online, and I'll post that link before they start. So feel free to check in then. So for the next 2 days, I just wanted to start gathering information on kind of major ideas that we're going to focus on in the novel, especially historical background. So the following slides are going to cover information about the American Dream, the Great Depression, and migrant workers. So I already went over that you have to do the survey. Here's another link here. Go through these notes, and then there's an assignment posted here and on Google Classroom that you have to submit. And what that assignment looks like is here, so you can just make a copy. I abbreviate Of Mice and Men, OMAM. So when you see OMAM, that's what that is. So previous knowledge, anything that you already know about this. Sorry, I realized a typo, I'm gonna fix it. That you already knew about maybe John Steinbeck, maybe you read The Pearl or another one of his novels in middle school. Maybe you've already learned about the Great Depression, or you know about the American Dream, or you have a personal idea about that. Maybe you have some familiarity with what migrant farming looks like. Write down anything you know, 2 to 5 complete sentences. And then you're going to watch either this video on the American Dream or read the other slides that I attached or the other links that I attached. And I want you to explain the common ways that people define the American Dream. When you watch the video, they interview a bunch of people and they give a variety of answers. And you notice there's some common answers that tend to crop up, like what the American Dream kind of used to be in America and maybe what people think it is now. So I'm curious what you see as far as common responses. Give some examples, 5 to 10 complete sentences. Then what is your personal definition? It could be something that you saw and agree with in the video. It can be your own. You can tweak it a little. Complete sentences, 3 to 6. And then there's a couple slides on the Great Depression and migrant workers. Go through these. There's a lot of information, a couple videos, some websites. And I want you to just describe what life would be like during the Great Depression based on the details that you see. And in your description, please include at least 4 specific details that you saw in either the video or on any of the websites. And that should be 4 to 10 complete sentences. There's also pictures on there. You could look at the pictures. So that is your assignment for week 1. Sorry, the extra credit we'll do another time. Make a copy of this doc, and then you're going to submit it on Google Classroom, not share it with me. All right, so back to the slides. It's just an overview. Again, it's all linked everywhere so that you can find it. If you're ever having trouble, let me know. Okay, so here's John Steinbeck, gentleman here. Here's some basic information. Again, he's from the Salinas Valley in California. He went to Stanford, very prolific writer, won the Pulitzer Prize. If you're curious about him and want to know more, you can research him more here. But we're going to focus more on the actual novel itself. The novel takes place on a ranch in a town called Soledad, which is a real place in California. You can see it right below San Francisco. Here's LA down here. Soledad is a pretty small town. If you ever take the 5 freeway up to San Francisco, or no, not sorry, it's the 5, it's the 101. It goes right past Soledad. But it's a lot of farmland, as you can see here, farm, but beautiful hills, pretty. All right, so here's a slide on the American dream. Our 2 characters in the novel, George and Lennie, often they have this dream and they talk about it all the time. So what other vision do people have? Watch this video. Here's the slide on the Great Depression. So again, happened in 1929. You may have already learned a little bit about this. I think we may have briefly talked about this when we learned about World War II. So that's definitely relevant. So here you can watch this video if you want to watch a rap song about it. It's pretty entertaining. Or here's some basic websites if you'd rather look up information there, but just get an interview. What types of things happened to people? What were the causes? You know, what did life look like? Those are the types of things you're looking for. Here are some images from the Great Depression. It's interesting. We see some similarities now that we're in quarantine, people running out of things, people losing their jobs. Hopefully it doesn't get this bad. Here's, in case you're interested, how the Great Depression and the American dream kind of like link up, how one affected the other and still affects it to this day. Kind of an interesting video, optional. And then I just gave you some bullet points on migrant workers. We'll learn more about this as we get into George and Lennie's life in the novel. But just why did people move to California? Again, the Great Depression, a lot of people lost their jobs. They had to leave, especially farmers in the Midwest. There was the Dust Bowl, which was this huge drought. And then these like giant dust storms, like their farms would just literally dry up and be blown away. So a lot of families lost their income, they lost their homes, and they moved west because they even advertised, like California would advertise to move here, like, hey, there's jobs, there's opportunity, like come on out, come on out. So a lot of people migrated to California during this time. Plus, like living in California, we live here, it's pretty mild, it's nice, not a bad place to be. A lot of Mexican immigrants came, that was allowed, came up here during that time, and just people from all over the United States. However, then and now, migrant farming is a really difficult job. Not only do you have to move a lot, because depending on what crop is in season, maybe not every farm grows every crop, you may have to move. A lot of times the living and working conditions aren't adequate. Like the equipment itself is really dangerous. You have to be like hunched over all day, you're in the sun, there may be chemicals or pesticides. Poor living conditions. A lot of times you maybe don't get a nice house if you're staying on a farm for a long time. The food isn't adequate for you. The pay is not enough. Maybe you don't have health insurance. A lot of times children of migrant workers are also working, and that often means missing school. It can be really dangerous for them and just kind of deprives them of their childhood. And a lot of times with migrant workers, especially if they were immigrant workers and Mexican workers, they would get taken advantage of. People thought they didn't have to pay them as much, especially if they were not legal citizens, and that was an extra reason. And this is something that still is being addressed. Cesar Chavez, if you've heard of him, hopefully he was a big advocate for farm workers' rights in the 60s. So that helped a lot. But even so, when you drive up and down in California, you know, you see it's a tough job. It's a backbreaking job. It takes all day to harvest crops. And so it's important to realize, not only because it's relevant now, but just we see how George and Lennie are characters, kind of how they had to live their life, what they had to go through. Important to keep in mind. So again, those are the slides. Just go over those and you can kind of help that add to your context of the Great Depression. So again, oh, here's Millie. Last but not least, Miss Millie, have a great weekend. Again, you can go through these slides, look at everything on Google Classroom. Don't forget to post for my challenge, my daily math challenge. You're supposed to post twice a week. Get those easy points. I miss you guys. Take care. Come see me in office hours from 2 to 3 on Thursday if you have any questions. And I miss you guys. I hope you're all well. Take care. Have a good day.